Hi, tonight what I'm going to do is I'm going to read Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree. The story is written by Robert Barry. Mr. Willoughby's Christmas tree came by special delivery. Full and fresh and glistening green, the biggest tree he had ever seen. He dashed downstairs to open the door. This was the moment he had been waiting for. A magnificent tree! Splendid! He cried. Please, sir, won't you carry it right inside? He's waiting at the door, and this is the big tree going inside. I think it might look best this year, right in the parlor corner here. But once the tree stood in its place, Mr. Willoughby made a terrible face. The tree touched the ceiling, then bent like a bough. Oh, goodness, he says, something must go. Baxter the butler was called on in haste to chop off the top, though it seemed quite a waste. That's great, Mr. Willoughby cried with glee. Now we can start to trim my tree. When the trimming was well under way, the top was placed on a silver tray. Baxter said, I know just who'd be delighted with this Christmas tree. So here comes the treetop. And then here it is on a silver platter. So it was presented to Miss Adelaide, Mr. Willoughby's upstairs maid. Won't this tree be a pretty sight when I have it trimmed later tonight? But the top, oh dear, I'm so afraid, will have to be cut, said Miss Adelaide. Her little tree is doing the same thing. So with scissors sharp and long, she snipped off the top while she hummed a song. The top was sent out the very next day in back of the house to be thrown away. That little treetop caught the eye of Tim the gardener passing by. He certainly was not about to see that little tree thrown away. He hurried home straight away to see what Mrs. Tim would say. Fa la la, surprise, surprise! His wife could not believe her eyes. But our house, she said, is so snug and small, I do not believe we need it all. And before Tim had a chance to shout, she cut off the top and threw it out. Here he is, he's bringing it home, rushed it over to his wife. She snipped off the top and threw it out. But it looks like it's going to be perfect for their little house. Barnaby Bear was padding by. It almost hit him in the eye. Now who would throw a tree away so very close to Christmas Day? I'll take it home, that's what I'll do. Look, Mama Bear, I have a present for you. She looks pretty happy about that. Isn't it a pretty tree? Young Barnaby quite drowsily. But Little Bear, standing afar, cried out, that tree won't hold a star. Looks like it has a theme with this tree, no matter how small it gets. Barnaby said, let's cut a hunk off the bottom, here at the trunk. But Mama Bear just shook her head and sliced the treetop off instead. There it goes. Jolly by golly, Barnaby said with a kick. Mama, that surely is just the right trick. Let's trim it with bells and honey rings, some berries and tinsel, and popcorn strings. They look pretty happy. Mama said, trim it just as you like. I've got to tidy up for the night. This top we won't need anymore. I'll put it just outside the door. Later on that frosty night, Frisky Fox came into sight. He spied the treetop, rubbed his chin, opened his sack, and stuffed the top in. Looks like he went on his merry way. He scampered home and jumped his gate. This Christmas present couldn't wait. Wait, it's even better than a mincemeat pie, said Mrs. Fox with a happy sigh. Then the foxes saw that their Christmas tree prize was just a wee bit oversized. There, my dears, don't you worry. I'll fix this top now in a hurry. Benjamin Rabbit found it then, just outside the fox's den. It seems, he thought, most certainly Santa left that for my family. Look, he cried, see the tree I found? With that he called his family round. Then there was a merry-making, rollicking, frolicking, carrot-shaking celebration around the tree. All were as happy as rabbits can be. Benjamin Rabbit with his own hand sliced a carrot and made a stand. There he's made a stand. Now let's see how this will look in our little chimney nook. But right away the children cried, look, it's leaning off to the side. It's too tall, that's all, said Mrs. Rabbit. And as though it were a summer carrot, she gave it a chop and threw it away. The top. So she threw it away. There goes the top. Right out. It's getting smaller and smaller, isn't it? Then Mistletoe Mouse just happened to see that tiny tip of a Christmas tree. He looks pretty excited there. He pulled it through the snow and ice, up some stairs. He fell down twice. There he goes. He's bringing it up, and down he goes. At last he reached his cozy house. It's just the right size, said Mrs. Mouse. Then at the top, if you please, they put a star made out of cheese. Oh, wasn't it grand to have a tree? Exactly like Mr. Willowby's. That was really a nice story. That's the end.